Good evening, everyone. My name is John Michael Herrico, and I am from BSIT second year. And tonight I will be talking about my web page, which is my first HTML. Welcome to my semi-personal web page. So here we have my VS Code, right? We have my Visual Studio Code open, and we are going to be opening my file here that I used to create my code. Now I'll be going to explain to you what each of these tags do, why I use these specific tags, and why is it that specific tags are placed in different parts of the document, and also what happens if a tag is removed and or changed midway. So first, we're going to be running my web page using the live server, which I will need to which you can do by right clicking your file right here and opening with the live server, which launches it onto a web page, which I will be showing you here in just a second. Window. There you go. Right, as you can see, this is my web page right now. This is what it looks like, although it doesn't have the same colors as you would think, because I changed the colors based on what you can see from my VS Code in the HTML coding. So in the browser output, you can see that it's listed that I have these things. Like, my name is John Michael Herrico. As I told you earlier, I study under BSIT, BS Information and Technology, and I am a second year. And I've sectioned off these specific things about me. Like, I love reading the small parts of me, and this hyperlink and hyper image that if you click into leads you to the exact website that I have just uh, put on here. I'm not going to show the whole website, but you get the idea. And this one is just a regular JPEG, unfortunately, right? And for this part, you can see that again, my website is not the typical white you'd expect, right? The reason for that is because I've managed to discover how to change it, and I will show you right now how to change it. So you can see here, oh, you can already see it. You can see here that I've changed the style. I've changed the color using the style command, the style tab, which allows you to change the color using the hex codes here and the colors from the RGB elements over here. You can hover your mouse over to figure out what happens. This is for the background color up here. This is for the color. This is for the font family, which is Arial Sans Serif. This is just a font. And the margins, the pixels, how big they are. And then the colors of each of the headers here. This is header 1 for the color. You can see that it is also a color orange up there for the header. And we have the yellow for header 2, which is every other header next to that, and the blue for the hyperlinks, and the light blue, actually I'm not too sure. I don't really see where it is. Regardless, I believe it's more so just the hyperlinks, but you can see that this is also the border color right here. This is how you change the color. Now, to answer a few questions on how I designed my website, uh, why did I organize my web page this way? It's because it is the easiest way to make sure that you can see everything in relative detail. They are segregated in a way that it doesn't overload your vision, like what you can see with too much information. So you can just scroll up or down. I am particularly zoomed in, so if you zoom in even further, you're not overloaded with too much information at once. It is all sectioned off, and it's all for the user to not be overwhelmed, as I mentioned. And the reason why I chose these HTML tags, like as you can see in the code, right? Like the H1P, because these are the basics. H1, it just stands for header 1, which is the first header that you will see, and it will also be the biggest header that indicates what the user will see first. As for the title is essentially the name of your web page, as you can see here. The title is not up there. It is actually the name of the web page link or HTML up there, as you can see, right? And hold up. Yeah, that is basically why I chose them and why I use these headings, these paragraphs, right? These lists, these links, and these images. It's all to make it uh, informational, but also simple enough to not be overwhelming. I come back to the whole overwhelming idea because if you have a website that's just full of information left and right and top and bottom, you don't know where to look. At least with these ones, you know where to look. You know which exactly are the more important parts based on the color because there's only one orange one, right? The relative information is emboldened, the specific information is italicized, and there's also hypertext with the blue, which means that it allows you to click on those. And also the breaks right here, or the lines that they use not just for aesthetic reasons so that it is pleasing to look at, is also so they're all segregated well enough, although I could definitely improve on this. Now for, if you're given more time, what improvements would I make? I definitely add more spacing, give more design, and maybe section off each of these parts to have a unique area specifically for that relative information. This is just an introductory uh, website, so there isn't much here, but I could definitely improve more on the design of the website and also the text. I realized I also put in a double apostrophe at the bottom next to the image there, so I need to work on that. Double quotations, I'm sorry. And in terms of the concepts, the important concepts of HTML, uh, when it comes to images, knowing the exact dimensions of your image is incredibly important when it comes to what you want to use. Because at first, I actually had the MangaDex image right here. It was originally extremely massive because I did not put in any dimensions, limited set specific dimensions like 300 by 200 or whatever, right? And it basically filled out the whole page, and you also had to make sure that the image is also hyperlinked to a specific website like the MangaDex website. That is one concept that I found that is very important to HTMLs. As for which HTML tags do you think are the most essential for creating a web page? I think all of them, really. When creating a web page, every single one of them is important in terms not just for the design of the web page, it is also for the functionality of the web page. Like, you cannot have a web page without any words. I mean, you could if you just use images specifically, but you also need to have hypertext links, right? So regardless, you need to have words, like you need to have paragraphs to describe what this hypertext does, and you need to have sectioning with the lines or the breaks that you can use to section off specific parts of the web page. What difficulties did you encounter when creating your web page? Uh, I think the most difficult part for me is figuring out how to attach a hyperlink into my own image. I didn't actually understand it very well at first, but after finding out a method by asking my classmates and researching about it for a little bit more, it's actually not that difficult. It's just that I made it more difficult for myself. As you can see here, uh, let me go back here. Like the hypertext here is just a URL, right? And you can just attach the image via the image source here. And that way, it turns into a hypertext link. And I made it way more complicated to myself. So you really need to understand how these exact words and codes work, or tags work in tandem with each other. How does this activity help you better understand how basic build? It's actually helped me understand just how simple yet complicated making a website actually is. Like simple in a way where once you understand exactly which code or not code tags you can use, how to structure it, it gets really simple, but at the same time having to arrange it in a way that looks pleasing to the eye is the challenge here. In game terms, the skill floor is quite decent, but the skill ceiling is quite high. I don't know how to explain that in layman's terms, however, that's one part that I should work on. And what is one thing that you still want to learn about HTML? I want to learn how to improve it. I genuinely enjoyed this despite taking around 2 hours mainly from the hypertext aspect. I want to know how to improve upon this. I want to know how to actually create a functioning website that looks good because it feels good to create something, and then maybe I can use it for future endeavors, like for example using a website, creating a website for the things that I want to advertise, or creating a website for my uh, friends businesses, I should say. And I think that's it. I think I've gone more than 10 minutes at this point. Uh, hold up. I cannot. So, thank you so much for listening to my video, and I will be seeing you at another time. Bye bye.